Hello. Oh my gosh, we are already December the 6th. December the 6th, 2023. You guys, we are almost at the end of the year. Can you believe it? I can't. I can't believe it. I've this year has just flown by, and when I was a kid and my grandparents used to talk about how quickly the years went by, I did not believe them. And as I've gotten older, I totally understand, and I think that they weren't quite um, as emphatic enough about just how quickly time flies by. And with that in mind, I want to talk about some things that you can do to help the rest of the year be the best part of the year for you. I know it can be super stressful, so I want to get into a couple of things that you can do to make the remainder of the year work out perfectly for you. I am Angela W. Stillwell. I am the CEO and founder of Untapped Strengths, and I work with teams to transform them into powerhouses. And I work with individuals just like you to transform you into top 1% leaders, whether that's in your own business or within someone else's organization. Being that top 1% leader looks completely different than what most people are using the word leader using to define leadership. So anyway, let's dive into today's material. What am I talking about? This whole things to help you get through the holidays. We know that the holidays can be super stressful. And I'm always talking about power skills and various steps to leadership and things that are happening. And this is something that, as a leader, whether it's a leader for your family, a leader in business, a leader in your community, whatever that looks like for you, this is a process that you can use every single time you are stepping into a new situation, whether it's something that's frustrating with your children, right? Or whether it's before you walk into a dinner with family or a lunch with family, and it's those big extended family things. We just went through them here in the US with the Thanksgiving lunches and dinners, and lots more happening between now and the end of the year with Hanukkah and Christmas and all of the different celebrations that are happening in this month between now and the end of the year, or business meetings, etc. I want to walk through this process that you can use to recenter yourself and have the best outcome of whatever the event or situation might be. Okay, you ready? All right. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you want to take some really deep breaths. I love recommending doing boxed breathing. And some people, when they're taking a deep breath, they'll take a deep breath, but they're not really forcing it all the way through their entire body. And this is what I want you to do. I want you to be able to force this through your entire body. So doing the boxed breathing gives you it gives you a little bit of an edge on doing that. So with boxed breathing, you breathe in for a certain count, you hold at the top of that breath for a certain count, you release for a certain count, and then you hold after the release for a certain count. All right. So if you've never done this before, and there's a reason that the breathing works really well, and I'm going to get into that in a minute, but let's walk through what this process looks like. When you're first starting out doing this breathing, if you've never done deep breathing exercises before, if you tend to get lightheaded, if breathing is an issue for you, start out with just a 4-4-4 count or a 2-2-2 count, right? Breathe in for 2, breathe, hold for 2, breathe out for 2, hold for 2. Breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4. If you've been doing this, I would encourage you to do 6, 6, 6, 6. You can even on the holds make the holds longer than the ins and the outs. You want to make sure, though, on the exhale, when you're breathing out, that you release as much oxygen as possible. Like you are down to that last, can't get any more out kind of thing, right? And once you're there, then you hold without anything in your lungs for your count, whatever your count looks like. So maybe it's in for 6, hold for 6, release for 6. And remember, on that release, you're going to breathe out really, really hard so that you are pushing with your diaphragm and pushing as much oxygen out as possible. And then you're holding down at the bottom for 6. Okay. And if you want to go for 8, you can do 8, 8, 8, 8. Great. Whatever those numbers look like for you. Just make sure that on that release, on that exhale, that you are letting as much out as absolutely possible, and then holding it and depriving your body, yes, depriving your body of that oxygen for those seconds, right? What happens is then you breathe that much deeper on the next breath, okay? And as you're doing this, I want you to visualize the breaths going throughout your body, going in when you're inhaling, going completely through your body. Just envision the oxygen going all the way through, all the way to the top of your head, all the way to the bottom of your feet, out to your limbs, all of your limbs. And then visualize all of it coming back out and then holding it empty. And then taking another breath again. Here's what happens when you do this like that. What happens is you actually are bringing your parasympathetic and sympathetic system back into alignment. When your body gets out of alignment, you are in fight or flight. So think about when you've been in this stressful situation, and maybe it's, again, a family luncheon, and there are some family members that you really are not interested in spending time with, and you don't like how they operate, and you don't like whatever it is, right? You don't like the stories they tell. You don't like how they tell them. You don't like their attitude, whatever it is. And your stress level builds up, right? Or maybe you're the one preparing the meal and your stress level is up. Doing this allows your body to realign. Now, here's another trick. When you exhale, you can open your mouth. So breathe in through your nose. You want to be breathing in through your nose on all of the breaths. You can choose to breathe out through your nose. You can exhale through your nose. You can also exhale through your mouth. Now, when you do the exhale, it's great if you can also make a noise as you release the breath. And what that does is it actually massages your vagus nerve. I know I'm getting into really geeky stuff here, and I promise you this stuff will make a difference in your life. When you are massaging that vagus nerve, it also is working on the realignment of the sympathetic and parasympathetic system. When you are out of alignment, you are in fight or flight. You are in stress. You are raising your cortisol levels. You are adding to the dysfunction of your body. When you bring it back in alignment, you are lowering your cortisol, you're upping your dopamine, you're upping your endorphins, you're upping the feel-good neurochemicals and reducing the bad neurochemicals in your body. And so what this does, it puts you completely in a different mindset, literally in a different mindset, because now you're no longer operating from that fight or flight. You actually are able to consciously go, okay, here I am. Now, when you're doing these breaths, you want to do at least 6 of them. Repeat them 6 times. So yes, I talked about a count of 6. Also do at least 6 of these breaths. Once you start getting around 4 or 5, your mind should be calming. You should feel your body starting to relax. You should feel your whole way of being settling in. Okay. Now, once you're done with the at least 6 repetitions of the breath, here's what I want you to do next. Set the intention of what you want the result to be of whatever the event is. So if you're having a discussion with your child about their behavior and you're doing this before having that conversation, what do you want that outcome to be? Set the intention. When you're going to lunch or dinner with the family and there's going to be stress, what do you want the outcome to be? It doesn't have to be anything grandiose. It can be something simple. Just go ahead and set the intention. After setting the intention, What I want you to do is visualize what that future looks like, not the path to getting there. What does that end result look like? Okay, so in a business situation, this could be maybe where you're having a conversation with a prospect. You're not visualizing how the conversation might go. What you do is you visualize what the end result will be. Here's why this is important to differentiate between the path to get there and the end result. There are multitudes of ways to get to the end result. Okay. And when we visualize the pathway to get to the end result, if it doesn't look quite like that, then what we're doing is we start questioning, am I really going to get there? You're feeling inauthentic. Here's the thing, when you set that intention and you do the visualization, your subconscious mind, when you really visualize what that end result is, your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference. It doesn't know the difference between whether it has already happened or if you are imagining it. Your subconscious mind thinks you're already there. Okay. So often you hear athletes talking about visualizing, their race or their jump or their game or whatever that looks like. What they're doing, so like a runner, we'll just talk about a runner that's maybe running sprints. They can visualize their run. They're not thinking about the other players. They're visualizing what their body's going to be doing and what it looks like and feels like to cross that finish line in first place. Okay. So that's what I want you to think about. Think about what that feeling is as whatever the intention is accomplished. What does that look like, smell like, feel like, sound like? Think of all of the senses that are involved in that process. Who's around you? What are the sounds you're hearing? What are the things you're seeing? At the end, at the time that you've actually accomplished it, right? Envision that. Here's what happens when you've done this breath work and you've realigned everything and you set the intention and you do the visualization, you are then at your most authentic place. Okay. Yes, I know your subconscious mind, once you get out of this process that I'm talking about, is going to play all of its games and do all of its things, but you are in your most authentic place at this point. And that resonates with whomever your audience is. So the breath work, 6 boxed breaths. And if you can do 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, right? Do that. Or 8, 8, 8, 8, do that, right? Again, if you are one who gets lightheaded or you get dizzy super easy or you've never done breathing exercises, start with a lower number. I don't want you passing out, and make sure that you're sitting down when you do this. Because listen, even if you do breathing exercises regularly, you can get lightheaded with this. All right. Just know that. Make sure that you are somewhere where it's okay. Then set the intention and then do the visualization of the outcome, not the process. All right. All right, listen, here's the thing. Using this throughout the holidays will completely shift your experience of the holidays. So often we get worked up about what we want things to look like and our expectations, what they're set. We set our expectations and then we get disappointed because we felt like it was supposed to go this way and we get ourselves all worked out, right? Or Uncle so-and-so that is a pain in the you-know-what is driving you crazy or whatever. Let that go. Use these exercises, use this process, the breathing, the intention, and the visualization. Okay. Can you agree to do that? Awesome. Here's a beautiful thing. There's more to this process. I can't get into all of the details on it in these weekly live calls because it's actually a process that you learn. There's a lot more to it. You get to work on your subconscious thoughts versus your conscious thoughts, and just doing what I told you is going to allow so much of it to automatically happen without you realizing what's happening. Okay. And in the community that I'm putting together, we dig into some of these things that are absolute tools and processes that high performers use. And even if you don't yet consider yourself a high performer, what if you could be in a community that had the ability to help you set expectations going forward, that help you set your future self up for success, right? Today, because we have these goals, we have these future ideas, and then we get disappointed because of the gap between where we are and where we're wanting to go. And there's a whole bunch of reasons why all that happens, right? What if you could be part of a community that helped you through that process, that worked on relationships, that worked on careers, that worked on health, that worked on wealth, that worked on the processes that help in all of those areas? I invite you to put a comment or send me a DM if this is something that you would be interested in being a part of. Listen, this is something that everybody gets to choose who their community is. Here's the thing. Most often, we are blindly choosing or just allowing the choice to be made for us. But if you have goals, if you have something that you're wanting to achieve, if you know that your purpose is greater than where you're living right now, you're going to get to make some changes in the community that you surround yourself with. Otherwise, where you are today is where you will be tomorrow, is where you will be the next day and the next and the next, right? If you're interested in being able to choose that community for yourself, either leave a comment or send a DM, and we will get you on a list for more information as this community comes about. And we will also get you a link for 13 strategies for uncovering your blind spots, because your blind spots are a big part of this as well. And obviously inside the community, we're going to dig into blind spots too. So anyway, I look forward to hearing from you, and I look forward to working with you more. And I want to hear, what do you think about this process, this breathing process and the intention and visualization, right? Breathing, intention, and visualization. Breathing, intention, and visualization to set yourself up for success in any situation, right? Set yourself up for getting to the end result that you want, right? All right. I look forward to hearing from you. Again, leave it in the comments or send a DM. Can't wait to hear from you. And I also want to know, you can send me a message after you use this for the first time, or just do it today. Use this process today for something that you're about to do. And let me know, how does it work for you? How do you feel after you do the breathing? Does your intention setting get different? What about the visualization? How do you feel after that? Let me know. I can't wait to hear from you. Have a fantastic remainder of your week, and I will see you again next Wednesday.